say, well, we got a roll call.
Okay, call to order the Fairway Board of Zoning Appeals meeting for Monday, January 26, 2026. I think we have one item on the agenda tonight. Before we get started, there are a couple of housekeeping things we need to take care of. The first is the approval of the minutes from the meeting of September 29th, 2025. Those were circulated, and I assume you've all had an opportunity to review them. And if so, the board would entertain a motion to approve. Is there such a motion?
I'll motion to approve the meeting notes from the last meeting.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Okay, so the minutes are approved. We have one item on the agenda tonight, and preliminarily, I will say that the way in which we function as a board is there are 5 statutory criteria under Kansas law that must be satisfied for us to grant a variance. And so we ask at the appropriate time that you address those 5 factors, because that's the only basis upon which we have to make a determination. Before we proceed to applicants' comments, we ask for a report and recommendation if staff is prepared to give one on this particular matter. So Basil, why don't you go ahead and give us your thoughts?
Yes, I'll let my report stand as submitted, and I'm open to any clarification as far as the determination of the lot. We determine it to be an intersection lot, which basically says it does not have a backyard. So that's the issue where our generator code requires the generator to be installed in the backyard. So hopefully that will clear it up for you guys. And then the main issue is the decibel, where the applicant is proposing the location, it's gonna exceed the decibel reading at the property line.
I note in the record that there were 2 neighbors that provided letters in support. Have all potentially affected neighbors been notified?
That is correct, and we have that confirmation.
Okay. And no one has objected?
No.
Okay. All right, so at this point, we'd ask the applicant to step forward. If you would, give us your name and address for the record, please.
Sure. There we go. Philip Meyer, 5638 Aberdeen. Thanks for having me.
So thank you, and if you would be so kind, I think the most, if you want to give us a little bit of an overview about what you think the necessity is, and then we'd ask you to kind of walk us through the 5 criteria.
Sure. Happy to do it. First of all, thanks for having me. I know this is thankless work, and thank you for the thankless work. Fairway's a great community. Tell everybody who listens that it's the best neighborhood in Kansas City to raise kids. I've got 3 kids, and they're fantastic, and it's a great neighborhood. And love my neighbors, and thanks for everything you guys do to make it such a great neighborhood. So, talking about the situation, so you all were kind enough, we went through this process when I did a renovation on my garage. Unfortunately, at that time, I thought that the generator was part of that proposal. It wasn't. We are where we are. A little disappointed in my contractor, but so went through this additional process, and as Basil's probably seen, you've seen on the walkthrough, my garage, I do have a backyard. Functionally, it's very small. The location, I'll go through the 5 criteria here. The location where I propose putting the backup generator, which, as you all know, will only function in emergency situations. So I think the functional, luckily the power wasn't out this weekend, it has been out in a while, so it functionally won't be running all the time like an AC generator, as you all know. But the place where I propose putting it would be behind my garage, non-visible from both Aberdeen Road and State Park Road. As I submitted to Abby and others, there's other locations, I understand one was not up to code, another one's prior to the code that are visible. This would not be visible. My 2 neighbors who are adjoining, the one most directly to the north and one to the east, both went to law school, both were in favor of it, don't see it as disruptive or a challenge. So with that, I won't read word for word, but given the setback requirements, small nature of my lot, I believe the requested side of the backup generator is furthest from my neighbors to the north and not visible from public locations. An alternative site, as I understand it, could be in front of my fence near my office. I think that is, while would be technically correct, would be not in the spirit of what we're trying to, presumably what you're trying to achieve here, and so that's why I think this location is better. Number two, proposed location, best practical location of the backup generator given my lot and the layout keeps the generator from being visible, audible distraction to neighbors and the public. And number three, I believe the strict provision of the zoning ordinance would be counterproductive to the spirit of the ordinance as I see it. Number four, kind of regurgitating here, best practical location of the backup generator given my lot and home layout. And five, it's the best practical location for the generator given my home and keeps the generator from being visible or a nuisance to the general public.
Thank you. Are there any comments or questions from the board members? Now, I'm kind of a decibel buff myself, and I know that it's a logarithmic scale, so at I think roughly 5 decibel increase, that's 1.5 times the sound that it would make. Have you had discussions with your neighbors about this issue? And if so, I know we got the letters, and they're quite remarkable because they seem to be the same in every major respect.
Again, they are attorneys. They reviewed them in detail and signed them. They may have had a draft to start working from. That's
But
possible.
I'm just curious about the non letter conversations you've had with them about,
Absolutely.
and what assurances you might give them.
Yeah, well, I mean, assurances, I told them it'll be on when the power's out, and there will be noise associated with it. As I mentioned, my neighbor to the, directly to the west has I believe the exact same model of generator, so it's kind of a moot, in our view, a moot point, because if mine's on, his is likely on as well. My neighbor to the north, he would be more affected by the in-code location because it'd be closer to his living space. We've both had beers in my garage, know exactly where it's going. We've talked about it a lot, so nothing will be a surprise. Again, they both have JDs and wouldn't have signed something that they didn't believe in my view.
Okay, thank you. Any questions, other questions?
I do.
Bill, go ahead.
The decibel level, I'm assuming was provided by the manufacturer?
Correct. That's correct.
Okay. So actually, in your favor, I would assume that decibel level was calculated without the fence being in place,
Presumably.
which would theoretically decrease
I would think that's right.
the decibel level.
And also, I think certainly for State Park Road and, everyone, so again, we have letters from the people who are two most affected, but with the garage, and I would say both the fence and the garage would serve as muffling factors, much more so than the other conforming location, in my view. Not being a
With that being
seismic-
said, your decibel level is probably less than what is actually presented here.
Presumably.
Okay.
Other questions?
I guess I have one now. I thought I heard you say that your neighbor to the west also has the same sort of generator
does.
that you're proposing, so that,
This is visible from Aberdeen and Chadwick. No, not Chadwick, sorry, the street to the west. It's visible. I'm told by Addie it was done before this code was put in. And I've had no problem with it. Presumably no one else has, and neither does he.
so it's, if there's a noise problem, it's already there.
I would agree with that. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, so we're going to close your testimony, and I guess there's an opportunity now for the public to comment. I don't see any members of the public here to comment, so I guess we will, at this point, close the hearing. Thank you. I will now, we now deliberate openly according to the Kansas Open Records Act. And so I'll start with Peter. I'll ask you your thoughts about approving this variance.
I would say that, with the favorable responses from the two direct adjacent neighbors, I don't think, although it's a little unusual to be 5 feet away from a property line, but you've got both neighbors that are supportive. So I think, and you've also met the 5 criteria, as outlined in the requirements. So I don't have any concerns about approving the project.
Bill?
I think it's the most logical location, you know, for it. I mean, it's not visible, it's gonna be muffled. The houses adjoining are relatively far away. They're not next, butted up, you know, 5 feet away. I don't think the property line restriction makes any difference whatsoever.
I have no concerns. It meets all 5 criteria.
Thank you.
I know personally, I have 3 neighbors who have these, and it is, when they're on, they're loud, and the distance doesn't seem to make that much difference to, you know, when it's, everything else is quiet. But if the neighbors are happy, and we already have this situation in the neighborhood, I'd have to go along and say he's met his criteria.
Right, and I agree with my colleagues. I think the 5 criteria have been met. So at this point, the chair would entertain a motion to approve the variance. Is there such a motion?
So moved.
Is it seconded?
Second,
Any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll call for a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
I,
Any opposed? No? Okay, having taken the vote, the variance is approved. Thank you very much for coming out on a cold night.
Thanks for having me. Can I functionally get it hooked up? Do I need to take any other actions?
Say again?
Do I need to take any further action?
No,
Everything good?
Apply
No,
for a
the-
permit.
Okay. We'll do it. Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you for your time.
thank you.
So now the very important business that we have now is the motion to adjourn. So is there a motion?
I move to adjourn.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, we